Here we are, Real Recovery Talk. I am your host, Tom Conrad. In today's episode, it is just me. Of course, it's Wednesday, time for a short one. Anyways, first things first, thank you for tuning in to this podcast. If you like what you see, if you're watching on YouTube, please take a minute, share this episode with somebody that you feel like could benefit from it. If you are listening on the podcast version, thank you again. Leave us a review there, 5-star preferably. If you want to leave us a 1-star, I get it, I suppose. But email us first and let us know why you're leaving us a 1-star review. Maybe we can fix the problem before you have to leave us that review. Okay, so in this episode, what I want to discuss is service work. Service work in the sense of when we are in a support program. Oftentimes we hear you need to do service work. Service work can be taken in many different ways. In the context of in this episode, service work is something that when we're getting sober and we get involved into a 12-step program, a lot of times we're asked if we want to partake in service work. So service can mean many different things, but I just want to go through a few kind of key topics as to why I think service work is very important for somebody, especially if they're newly sober, and why I think it's something that you should incorporate into your recovery/sobriety journey. So the first thing is this indirectly is going to help you. Doing service work, although it is for other people and it could be for the group that you're attending, like I say all the time, this is kind of a selfish type program. And a lot of the things that we are doing, although they are for other people, a lot of times they're self-serving in a sense. So when we do service work, we have to understand, yes, I am doing this for the group. I am doing this for this particular person, whatever the case is. But in the same token, it helps us. And that, I think, is the biggest thing that I want to discuss, or the biggest point that I want to, as Ben would say, drive home. I want to drive home the point that service work is important because it ultimately does help us. It is about helping other people, but it makes us feel good when we're able to help other people. So let me give you an example. Oftentimes, especially here at Rock Recovery Center, a lot of our clients, they don't have cars. They don't have transportation. It's not a requirement to have a vehicle here. The majority of them don't. A lot of our clients have come from the Northeast and they're here and they don't have a vehicle. What's cool, though, is a lot of our alumni clients, people that have graduated through the program, they view this as an opportunity to do service work. So if one of our current clients wants to go to XYZ meeting and they can't get there, well, one of our clients would gladly come and pick you up. And they will also take you home and maybe grab dinner afterwards. So it's service work, and that happens a lot of times in just regular meetings. When somebody comes and says, I can't get to a meeting because I don't have a ride, have you asked? Because one thing I know for certain, people inside the walls of 12-step rooms, inside those rooms, it's filled with a bunch of men and women that are eager at the opportunity to help somebody else, because that ultimately is what this whole program is built on, is around helping others. So we have to look at it through the lens of this is part of the process of getting sober. I am now appointed this position of having X amount of time sober, and I have these resources now. I need to put them to good use. And so just going as far as picking somebody up from a meeting is a very, very good form of service work. And if you want to go out to dinner after the meeting and, just chat, have a conversation, again, it's service work. I think it's very important. A lot of times people think service work oh, well, I have to empty the trash when the meeting's over. I have to put the chairs away, or I have to clean the toilets, yada, yada, yada. That's not what I'm referring to. If you want to do those, by all means, go for it, because those are jobs that generally people don't want to do. But there's other ways that you can do service work inside the program. The next thing I want to talk about when it comes to service work is not only are you helping other people and helping yourself, but it's an opportunity for you to build the strongest relationships that you have ever built before in your life. And if you've been listening to me for any point in time at all, you know my biggest thing when it comes to getting sober is community. Having a strong sense of relationships with people in your circle, people that you can rely on when you need them. When you're happy, they'll celebrate with you. When you're sad, they'll cry with you, so on and so forth. And a lot of times these relationships are built through service work. So I encourage people, when you become part of a 12-step program, whether it's AA, NA, CA, or even Celebrate Recovery or whatever recovery program is offered through your church, whatever the case is, do something service related. And I have found that the people that have the biggest smiles on their faces are the greeters. I encourage people, if you want to build relationships with people, stand at that door, and when people are walking in, you smile at them, you shake their hand, you tell them hello. It's going to spark conversation, and those conversations, you never know where they're going to lead you to. And I've seen a lot of relationships being built through that. I've built a lot of relationships myself just by walking and meeting a greeter at a door. We get to chatting, and who knows where it goes from there. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to service work, especially for newcomers, it's a form of commitment. When you take on some sort of service commitment, it is a commitment. So a lot of times you'll see inside the rooms of AA or NA, they'll ask for volunteers to help set up the chairs or tear down after the meeting. Or can we get volunteers to sweep the floor after the meeting? Can we get volunteers to do coffee? Can we get volunteers to do the key tags or the chips or whatever the case is? And generally, those are done on a monthly basis. So I remember when I first got sober, they asked for volunteers to tear down the meeting after it was done. I raised my hand. I said, sure, I'll do it. Well, that was something that I was committing to doing for that month. And when that month was over, then they would get new volunteers to do whatever said job was. But that's important, because not only am I doing service, I'm helping the meeting, it's a commitment for me. Now, people are expecting me to be there, because when the meeting's over, I got to tear everything down. And if Tom isn't there, then somebody else has to do my job for me. So it gives me this sense of responsibility almost that, hey, listen, people are relying on me to be at this meeting, because when it's over, I got to tear everything down. So there's a commitment aspect there when taking on service work. Again, I can't stress this enough. I think it's one of the most vital things that we can do as somebody getting sober is to take on some sort of service commitment. There's no book, there's no rules, there's no regulations around service commitments. Just know that you're putting your best foot forward, you're putting your best effort into this, and ultimately helping other people on their sobriety journey. That is it. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me, Tom, at realrecoverytalk.com. You can also reach Ben at realrecoverytalk.com. Those emails are right there. Go ahead and type them in, send us an email, and we'll get back to you. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is help everybody turn their mess into their message. That is it. We will see y'all later.